You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I could be running or I'm chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive, life. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Hey, everybody. My name is Nicole D. Vick, Dr. Nicole D. Vick. One day I'm going to remember to put that doctor in front of my name. Every month I forget. I'm going to remember one of these days. I'm so glad to have you here. Welcome to Nicole D. Vick Live. It is Friday Junior. Yes. As you know, each and every week I go live with you with important topics in the Black community from a social justice perspective. So very happy to have you here. I'm excited. I put my t-shirt on. It says, I am a new Black history maker because guess what? It's the most wonderful time of the year. No, not Christmas. It is Black History Month 2025. Woo! Gotta do a little dance. I can't really dance that good. Something else to work on. It's okay. I love Black History Month. I think it starts from when I was a wee little girl, wee little baby in the elementary school, which actually is not far from where I live right now. I could probably, I can't walk there now because, the ankle. But if I had my ankle good, I could walk there. And I remember being in this elementary school and having a Black principal, Black pastor, because I went to parochial school, y'all. All the teachers were Black. And I remember we had a Jamaican teacher for 5th and 6th grade, Mr. Williams, who I just heard recently passed away. But he really drilled Black history into us. And it wasn't just Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and the end, right? We were learning about the kings and queens of Africa. We were learning all these things. And so I think that's where my love for Black History Month came from. For me, it gives me this chance to reflect on who I am, my identity as a Black woman, who is Nicole? And then really also gives me a chance to think about the folks whose shoulders I stand on. And I talked about that a couple of weeks ago, right? My ancestors. But there are other people that have done so much work to get us where we are today. And it's a time for me to really reflect on that. I usually bring out my Afro-centric clothing, my Ankara fabrics, but I don't be dressing like that no more, y'all. I done turned into the tennis shoe sweat girl because we can't really dress too funky fresh with a boot on. It's just, it don't have the same flavor. So I've kind of left that alone, but I will throw a head wrap on, baby. Whoop, whoop. So that's kind of my things that I do during Black History Month that I really love. So, and I do this every year. and I probably will continue to do it as long as this podcast is in existence. I have to talk about the history of Black History Month because a lot of people are like, how come we got the shortest month? They think somebody gave us the shortest month. And it's like, no, actually, it was a very conscious decision at the time. Now, we could probably change it, but at the time, there was a thought process as to why February was chosen. So let's get into the history of Black History Month. And excuse me for reading because I don't remember. I can't remember everything. So I got notes to help us walk through this. So the history of Black History Month begins in Chicago back in 1915. So we're actually what? I was going to say 100 years, but my math is wrong, baby. It's 110, right? Somebody help me in chat. Because I was like, oh, 100 years. And I'm like, that is not 100 years, Nicole. 100 years would be 2015. Come on now. Hello. Your brain done went downhill. Let's get it together. Anyway, 1915 in Chicago, Dr. Carter G. Woodson traveled from D.C. to participate in a celebration of the 50th anniversary of the emancipation of enslaved people, right? And this was in Illinois. So he went from D.C. to Illinois to this event. So there was thousands of African Americans traveled from across the country to this event. And so he was really inspired by this celebration. It was 3 weeks. I'm like, woo. So he decided to form an organization. So he went back home, met up with his friend A.L. Jackson, and they formed an organization called the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. And so what the idea was, hey, we should create something, an event, an occasion to really help teach people about the history of Black Americans in this country, and kind of just to kind of uplift, right? And so that's where Negro History Week started. So as early as 1920, Woodson urged Black civic organizations to promote the achievements that researchers were uncovering at the time. So he is a member of Omega Sci-Fi. Yes, I'm like, let me say it right. And he really worked with them to kind of help push this idea of Negro History Week forward, or Negro Achievement Week. And in 1925, that organization that he created, he said, I want you to be responsible for sort of pushing this event forward. And they did. So they took responsibility of that, which they still hold. So they actually set the theme for Black History Month every single year. Now, here's why. Yes, my math. I was like, wait, why my brain? I don't know. So here's where February comes in. So all of y'all can be not mad no more. Okay. Oh, we got the shortest month. There was a reason February was chosen. And here we go. There were reasons. And Dr. Woodson said, hey, tradition and reform. It is commonly said that Woodson selected February to encompass the birthdays of two great Americans, Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. Their birthdays are on February 12th and February 14th. And so historically, people were celebrating, Black folk were celebrating Lincoln's birth, or his birthday, yes. And they were also celebrating Douglas's birthday. So what he said to me, I'm like, that I understand where you were going. If people were already celebrating around a specific time frame, layer your celebration on top of it, then it doesn't feel funny or weird to people. Oh, we was already out here anyway celebrating. Okay, this makes sense. That's why February is the month that Black History Month occurs. So it sounds like at the very beginning, there was a lot of positive feedback. And of course, there was some negative. Negro History Week appeared across the country in schools and before the public. The 1920s was the decade of the new Negro, a name given to post-World War I generation because of its rising racial pride and consciousness. And so urbanization and industrialization brought a lot of Black folk to cities as well, right? So they were interested in and really eager to absorb Black literature, Black culture, and to learn a lot. So there were a lot of Black history clubs that sprang up around that time. Teachers wanted information to share in class with their students. And a lot of all this energy was sort of out there. So the association scrambled to meet the demand, putting together materials to be able to share. And again, they still do that now. In the 1940s, efforts began slowly within the Black community to expand, right? So move beyond this week to really bring this into a month, okay? The 1960s had a dramatic effect on the study and celebration of Black history. Before the decade was over, Negro History Week would be well on its way to becoming Black History Month. And in fact, in 1976, there was the proclamation, I forgot which president, but they signed it into law. And so every president since then, except one that was trying to not do it this year, but then, oh, oops, he had to do it. Every president, which is weird because the first time he was in, he did it, but then he didn't want to do it. I don't know, y'all. But ever since then, we get sort of that official proclamation from every standing president since the mid 70s, proclaiming February as Black History Month. So I love learning about the history of it. One of the things I would encourage you to do is to go on that website. It's called, let me go back up, the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. You can actually see past presidents of that organization. You can see past themes for Black History Month. And it was really cool to see the progression of those themes, how over time sensibilities changed, culture changed. And so those themes really shifted over time. But it's really interesting to see how that organization has pushed forward over the years. They had a journal that they would publish every so often to kind of keep things going and keep information. I think they stopped in 2017 though, but still go to that site and see, because there's a lot of things. Oh, good question. Why is Negro being treated like it's a slur? You know, I think Negro just fell out of style, because I even noticed one thing I did as I was looking at the themes, because they have them listed through the years, you can see them as a shift. I said, I wonder what year did it shift from Negro to Black or to African American? And I can't remember what year it was, but you do see that shift from Negro to, I believe it went from Negro to African Americans. And so I think it was just a shift in culture. And I think that for some people, Negro is a little too close to the other N word. And so maybe that's why Negro is not seen as favorably as some of the other ways that we have chosen to refer to ourselves. Some people don't like African American, right? And some people prefer to be called Black. And so, you know, it's just, I guess, a matter of sort of generational and also sort of culture as well. Because I don't think nobody's calling nobody Negro in 2025. But there are some people that will say, I'm not African American, I'm Black. Or some people that say, I'm not Black, I'm African American. So it's really interesting how our sense of who we are as a people and a culture has shifted over time. So I would suggest definitely checking that website out. Very informative. You learn about Dr. Carter G. Woodson. You learn about the past presidents. Mary McLeod Bethune was the president of that organization at one time, and all the folks that were involved in creating Black History Month, which started as Negro History Week. And so I'll pivot real quick. My family, I consider a part of Black history. I consider myself a part of Black history. I'm like, there's some things that I have done and I'm really proud of, but there are some people in my family that have done some amazing things in Los Angeles. So my family came to Los Angeles, I think around the either late 20s or the early 1930s. They were part of the Great Migration from Tennessee to Oklahoma to Los Angeles. So really, really love talking about my family's history. And I asked my producer to show some of my family's photos, and I was going to share with you all some of the stories behind them. I've shared them before on Instagram, and I realized I need to do it again every year, like, because y'all need to know what's going on. So yes, this is my family. So let's go through the family slideshow and see which photo pops up first. Okay, y'all. This is my great grandmother, my maternal great grandmother. I will say that I have found over the years through digging on ancestry.com and other places that her father was enslaved. I always wondered in what part of my family tree would I hit that line of enslavement, and literally it was her parents are actually were born enslaved in Tennessee. My great grandmother died when I was 20 years old. So I literally touched the hands of a woman whose parents were born enslaved in this country. She was a beautician. I still have copies, or actually true copies, not photocopies, but like her actual cosmetology licenses. There's a photo that comes up later of her at her beauty salon. I guess she was a hunting girl. That's her shotgun and that dang on duck. That duck, I remember seeing that duck in the house that I grew up in. I don't know why we was holding on to this duck, this stuffed duck, but it was in the house. I don't know. But that is my great grandmother. She died around age 100. We believe she was born in 1898 or so, and she died in 1997, right the same year that my daughter was born. And so she actually got to see what, three generations. So my mom, well, her daughter is one, my mom is two, me, and then Andre is actually four, which was so amazing. All right, next photo. Let's see who's next. That's the beauty salon. It's called Colonial Beauty on historic South Central Avenue in Los Angeles. About, I think it was 22nd Street and Central. And if you know anything about historic South Central Los Angeles, that's where all the Black folk lived. That's where all the Black businesses were. We were not allowed to live too much further than that because of restrictive covenants and redlining and all those other things that happened. You know, you think, oh, California, Los Angeles, liberal, free. Yes and no. And so my great grandmother and her, I think one of those women in that photo is her niece, and some other folks and her business partner opened this salon, I believe, in 1935. I actually have the article from the Los Angeles Sentinel, which is a Black-owned newspaper that is still in publication today, of the article, oh, you know, Colonial Beauty opened today, da 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 da, and it mentioned my great grandmother's name. So she was a cosmetologist. That's how she earned her living and did what she had to do. So I love this photo. I actually had a conversation with someone from USC. They wanted to see the photos, and they were actually able, somehow he said, what's the name of the salon? I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't even born. He was able to zoom into the uniform and saw that it said Colonial. He started Googling something, and there was a database with the address of the salon. So cool. So I have this actually sitting right behind me, up above me. I keep it close by. Next photo. And also I will say, I think beauty salon great grandmama is why the nails and the hair, I think I inherited that from her. This is my maternal grandfather, my mother's father. His name is Nathan Neal. My grandfather, I've told this story before, he was a firefighter from 1945 to 1978. He integrated the fire station at LA International Airport. I did not know this until much later in my life. I literally walked into the African American Firefighter Museum that is in Los Angeles. I walked in and there's like these giant pictures, and this picture that you're looking at is blown up huge on the first floor of this museum. And I said, that's my grandfather. And the guy was like, yeah, oh, Nathan Neal, da, 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 da. And he was like, he integrated the fire station. Why didn't I know this as a child growing up? Why didn't anybody tell me this? So again, my family is part of Black history. Like, think about what he went through as a firefighter integrating a fire station. I have heard that he was hazed, and all sorts of things happened. But he did what he did, you know? So I'm like, I don't know. I will never forget that day when I walked in and I'm looking around and I'm like, wait, Grandpa Neal. It's in no thing. So that's wild. That's a picture of him on, I think they told me it's called a water cannon. I don't know. So city employee. And again, I figure I probably inherited that too, because I also am a government employee. So I feel like the government stuff kind of maybe got passed down as well. That's my grandpa. Next slide, please. This is my maternal great grandfather. And he's actually my step great grandfather, but of course I wasn't raised. He was my great grandfather. That's all I knew. I didn't know no different. So the woman that had the shotgun, this is her husband. His name is Rufus Simpkins, and I believe he's from Mississippi. I believe so. And he was a realtor. I also have ads from the Sentinel of his real estate business. Hey, house for sale, XYZ. The name of his company was 40 Acres. Now, y'all know 40 Acres and a Mule, so I feel like that was very progressive. Like, my business is going to be named 40 Acres. I have heard from other people that my great-grandfather helped integrate neighborhoods. So, you know, we tend to think of South LA, you know, there's certain parts of South LA, Watts, Compton, historically where Black folks lived after they left South Central. or were able to move out. But then you also hear View Park, Baldwin Hills, sort of the west side of South LA. And so when they sort of removed those covenants, restrictive covenants from View Park, Baldwin Hills, from what I understand, my great grandfather was probably one of the realtors that helped kind of get Black folk into those neighborhoods. He had a gas station, a Shell gas station with my great grandmother and I think another business partner. So these were some business owner folks. And it was really exciting to grow up, even though by the time I came around, they were much older, but it was still exciting to grow up in that space because he was the one that taught me how to write a check. He's like, here's how you write a check. Here's how you do these things. And I learned a lot from him. Okay, I'll go back and share their website in 1 second, the name of it in a second. Thank you for asking. Matter of fact, let me do it now. It's called the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. Association for the Study of Negro Life and History is the name of the organization that hosts Black History Month and does all the themes and things. Was that all my pictures, producer? I don't remember if that was everything. It might be one more of the gas station. And I think that's it. I think. I don't remember. But I think I had put a picture in there of the gas station, the Shell station, and everybody standing in the front of it. And I have ads and pictures of ads from the newspaper about that gas station as well when it opened. So I'm very proud of my family and their history. There's other parts of my family that I'm not too sure of. As you know, my last name is Vick. And so we do think that on my dad's side that we're related to Michael Vick. I mean, Vick's Vapor Rub. Hello, somebody, what's going on? So there's some more digging for me to do. I also have told y'all in the past, I think I'm related to Justin Timberlake in some sort of way because my great grandmother's mother's maiden name is also Timberlake. And they're also from Tennessee, where Justin's family is from. So I don't know. All right, y'all, we're going to go to commercial. But yeah, I just wanted to share my Black history and also remind y'all of the origins of Black History Month. So when we come back, I'll talk a little bit about this year's theme and what that means to me. And we're probably going to run that theme through the rest of the month. So we'll be back in a little bit. See ya. I'll be over here having a good old time. You know what? I just giving myself a fun time over here. All right, y'all. So this year's Black History Month theme. Yes. So when Carter G. Woodson was putting all this stuff together, getting Negro History Week together and everything, he realized the importance of providing a theme to really focus the attention of the public. And, you know, I don't think that it was meant to sort of limit how we celebrate Black History Month, but really was just kind of a way to kind of guide people in a direction or to cause people to really think about Black History Month or Black folks and their culture in a way to, you know, foster conversation and thought. So this year's theme, I was really interested to see. I was like, oh, okay. This month's theme is African Americans and labor. And it focuses on the various and profound ways that work and working of all kinds, free and unfree, skilled and unskilled, vocational and voluntary, intersect with the collective experience of Black people. Work is at the very center of much of Black history and culture, right? Be it the traditional agricultural labor of enslaved Africans, debates among Black educators on the importance of vocational training, self-help strategies, and entrepreneurship, which, I just kind of talked about my great-grandmother and my great-grandfather and their entrepreneurial spirits, right? Our organized labor. I'm hoping to get someone on to talk about unions and things like that. We want to talk about that. And I think actually they probably didn't realize what was going to happen, but I feel like this conversation around African Americans and labor is actually very timely given some of the stuff that's happening, right? Where federal employees are, hey, we'll give you some money if you leave now. And I'm like, if you think about the makeup of the workforce, specifically the federal workforce, there's a lot of middle class, but they're Black folk working in those spaces. And so that conversation around labor is really, really important, right? Black people's work has been transformational throughout the US, Africa, and the diaspora. And that theme, African Americans and labor, sets out to highlight and celebrate the impact of this work. And this is from the website. Considering Black people's work through the widest perspective provides versatile and insightful platforms for examining Black life and culture through time and space. In this instance, the notion of work constitutes compensated labor in factories, the military, government agencies, office buildings, public service, and private homes. But it also includes a community building, right, of social justice activists, voluntary workers serving others, and institution building in churches, community groups, and social clubs and organizations. In each of these instances, the work Black people do and have done have been instrumental in shaping the lives, cultures, and histories of Black people in the societies in which they live. So it's really important to understand Black labor and its impact in all of these settings and how important it is to understanding Black people and their histories. So I'm really excited about it. I plan to dig deep. And the crazy thing, or the coincidental thing, or the interesting thing is, for me, I'm like, wait a minute, African Americans in labor, Black History Month. I was digging around and I was like, last year, hello. And one of the co-authors is commenting in the chat. Hopefully he's still here. Last year we put this out and it's about African Americans in labor. This is the anthology called Triumph in the Trenches, Navigating Success for Black Professionals. This is literally, I'm like, how is it that life does that? Last year we put this book out. The theme was African Americans in Labor for Black History Month. But then it's like, it's so appropriate that on the 1-year anniversary, the theme is so relevant. This book is like the green book for Black working professionals. If you remember last year, and if you don't, maybe I'll start reposting some of those videos. I got very curious about the Black workforce, what kind of jobs constitute Black jobs before that whole Black jobs thing came up. Remember, that was a big thing and everybody was like, what is a Black job? I had been researching what industries do Black folk gravitate towards? Transportation, like buses and trains, right? Healthcare in some way, and a lot of service industry jobs, some types of nursing. There was a really, tangible list that I had gotten from the Department of Labor. And it was in response to just this book being released and us trying to really help people understand how to navigate workspaces. The funny part or interesting part is I feel like this book is probably now more relevant now than it was last year because of what's happening with DEI and people pulling back. And now we're all merit-based, but it's like, well, so we're going to need to figure out how to navigate work. And some of the authors of this anthology really touched on important concepts. Things like this is the one I was like, wait a minute. It says, how is it that I constantly get a seat at the table, but no voice in the discussion? Now, if you recall, my dissertation title is At the Table, on the Menu, or Under the Bus. So you can be at the table, but they will still play around in your face and you will still be on the menu, you and your community. So all of these concepts and topics in this book, I'm like, wait a minute. oh my gosh, so relevant, where people are having issues around discrimination. They may be in healthcare, like, wait a minute, what is happening here? And so this book is very, very, very helpful. And I think now more so than ever. I have copies left and can order more. So if you want it, you can get it off my website. But it just, I'm like, oh my gosh, all the dots are just like connecting for some reason for me, which happens often. I'm like, wait a minute. I was talking about this before everybody else talked about this. And so here we are. We have this important resource here that can help us as we reflect on this year's Black History Month theme of African Americans in labor and labor. Is it in labor? Because I'm like, we ain't in labor. We ain't pregnant now. We in labor or and labor. And labor, child. Don't let me get the line. African Americans and labor, not African Americans in labor. That's a whole different topic. Oh, I'm so funny sometimes. But anyway, like I said, on my website, you can check this book out. I can send you a copy and I can sign it for you if you would like. But I think this is so timely given what is happening right now with folks in the workspace as they're trying to navigate. That's all I have for this week. Again, next week, I'm hoping to bring someone on that is in the union space, right? Organized labor, which is really, really important. It was very important many, many decades ago. And then people were like, why do we have unions? And they kind of went away. But then it's like, wait. People need to have their work protected. They need to have pay time off. They need to have a 40-hour work week. They need these things to protect themselves as they do meaningful work. Like, wait a minute. So I hope to have her on to kind of give some thought on that. And then on the 20th, I'm going to bring back Delora. Delora asked to come back. I know you guys really liked her when she came on and talked about her family's celebration of Juneteenth, I think was the last time she came on. But she asked to come back on for Black History Month. And I'm like, absolutely. So she'll be on the 20th. And I think what I will do for that last week of the month, I want to bring on or replay one of the episodes from last year. Last year, I did Black Past, Black Present, Black Future. And I think that was really great. I be coming up with stuff, y'all. Stuff just come to me. Boom. And so I want to rerun one of those episodes for that final week of Black History Month. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. I will see you all next week. In the meantime, check me out on social media. I'm most of the time on LinkedIn. I haven't been posting. I don't know what is in my spirit where I just don't really feel inclined to post. Every so often I'll jump in there and say something, but I'm trying to find my voice again, right? It's one thing to have something to say and not know how to say it. I literally, for me right now, I just feel like I don't have anything to say. I'm really busy trying to get back on my feet. I got my little walker over here, so we're working on that. And I think that's been just top of my mind. But I hope to be back, more active on social media. But there are plenty podcast episodes on YouTube. There are plenty other things to watch on my LinkedIn. You can also check my website out. There's other things and content there as well. www.NicoleDvick.com, where you can find all sorts of podcast episodes that I've been on, other people's podcasts as guests. Videos on YouTube. I've been on YouTube videos with BuzzFeed, for example. I also have my books there, my first 2 books, and then this one here that just came. This is a year old. Dang, time flies. This book is now a year old. So if you want a copy of Triumph in the Trenches, please let me know. It's also on the website. All right, y'all. I'm going to see you next week for some more Black History. I'll probably have on another Black History t-shirt. And we'll have another good old conversation. Thank you so much. And thank you all for jumping in and leaving comments and stuff. I love it. You can always reach out to me and I'll be in touch with you ASAP. All right, y'all. See you next week. Bye.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.